If there were ever a definition of a bittersweet victory, the Jets season opener would absolutely be the picture taped straight into the dictionary. What began as a breath of fresh hope for a new era for a fan base that really has gone through it the past better part of a decade with bad teams, bad off-season moves, and just really terrible luck. This really has become what is the norm for the New York Jets, and that is terrible, terrible luck. Aaron Rodgers made it all of 4 plays before going down with an injury. He stayed on the ground for a little bit, got back up, hobbled around, and then went straight back to the ground, eventually carted out to the locker room. If you saw the video, you knew this was probably going to be an Achilles injury, but then it was confirmed. He has a torn Achilles and he's done for the season. And that is really, really unfortunate if you are a fan of the Jets or really just a fan of football, because Aaron Rodgers is 39. It's unclear where he goes from here with the Jets as a football player. He signed to 2 years, so he does have that opportunity to work and come back, but an Achilles injury is often regarded as one of the hardest to return from for any athlete, much less a 39-year-old quarterback. So we're going to talk about the kind of the nuts and bolts of the Aaron Rodgers situation a little bit later in a different video that will also go up today. I'll be talking with other Jets beat reporter Chris Persianen, and we'll really get into, what this means for the Jets moving forward. But this is just the post-game report, so we're going to get into the game itself. Zach Wilson was able to step in, and say what you will about Zach Wilson. He had a terrible 2022 year. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns, but he looked adequate in this game. He didn't look like the Zach Wilson we saw last year. There were flashes of it. He had a pretty ugly turnover, but all things considered, he looked okay. He went 14 for 21, 140 yards and a touchdown, and then, as I mentioned, an interception. So maybe this has made him mature a little bit, being behind Aaron Rodgers all summer and for, 4 plays of the opening game. But he looked all right. It was perfectly acceptable. He looked more mature, given the circumstance he was put into, especially. No one really had it on their bingo card that Zach Wilson was going to be taking any snaps, much less first quarter snaps, and he's going to be the quarterback for the rest of the year. But at the half, the Bills led by 10 points, and really that was because of the Jets' inability to cash in on big plays and turnovers. Breece Hall broke off for an 80-yard run, and somehow they only got a field goal out of it. Ran from the 4-yard line all the way into the red zone. But Zach Wilson and the Jets were not able to cash in on that. They didn't score a touchdown. They only had a Greg Zuerlein field goal. They were down 13-3 at the half. But in the second half, that's really when the wheels began to fall off for the Bills, because while the Jets offense wasn't exactly lighting it up, neither were the Bills. Josh Allen had a horrible game. He went 29 for 41, 236 yards, touchdown, 3 interceptions, and a fumble. That is 4 turnovers forced by this Jets defense, who really looked absolutely stellar. As I said, Josh Allen looked bad. The Bills couldn't stop the run, and the Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson connection really started to grow throughout the game and really came into a pinnacle. Maybe not his best throw. He said that in the post game, that it wasn't exactly, the most stellar throw that he's ever had, but Garrett Wilson made what I think is the catch of the season, the young season so far. But as we've seen over and over again, Josh Allen is clutch, and 90 seconds is just too long for him. He marched the offense downfield, got it in field goal range, and Tyler Bass barely made it, off the upright into the back, but we're going to overtime. Free football on opening week, and what a crazy game, because Josh Allen is 0-4 in the playoffs heading into this game, and the Bills won possession, so it's looking good for them. We're looking good for him to get his first overtime win, really in a position to win the game. Scores a touchdown, the game's over. But instead of doing that, they went 3 and out, punting it to the Jets, and the Jets did not need any time. They didn't even need a play from the line of scrimmage, because rookie Gipson, punt returner, returned it 64 yards for a touchdown, winning the game. And man, what a great ending to what is an awful game for the New York Jets, getting a huge win, 22-16 the final score over their division rivals, the Buffalo Bills. But it is a tough situation, because it's short-term pride and short-term happiness for what is going to be a tough road ahead for the New York Jets, because Zach Wilson looked good in this game, but he's not a good quarterback unless he has a complete career resurgence, which if he does, I'll put my hands up. I'll say I'm wrong. But looking forward, we talked about it before the season, but they have a really tough first half schedule. But people, the narrative was they have Aaron Rodgers. It's okay. He will lead this team to a Super Bowl regardless. But now this is a tough schedule Zach Wilson and company have to face. They play the Cowboys this Sunday, then the Patriots and the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Eagles, Giants, Chargers. And they play the Bills again November 19th. So it's going to be tough. But to get this win tonight after losing what should have been their franchise quarterback 4 plays into the game, it was an incredible sight at MetLife. I was there. That punt return touchdown was the craziest I've ever seen that stadium get. And I feel like it was a mixture of happiness that they won the game and also relief that there might be something to look forward to. The run attack was great. The defense was amazing. I mean, Breece Hall had a great game, really looks better than he did before he tore his ACL in this first game, which is exactly what you want to see. Dalvin Cook is going to get into the mix. He's bound to have a big game coming up. So while Aaron Rodgers is gone, they still built a decent team around them. And they do have both Rookie of the Years on the team. So there is stuff to be excited about, stuff to be happy about, but you lose Aaron Rodgers and it's just all you can think about, all you can talk about. But they don't have a lot of time to dwell on it. As I said, playing Monday Night Football, they have a bit of a short week. They play Sunday, September 17th at 4:25 p.m. against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. And hopefully they can build on that and get another win, shock the world, make the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers. But that is all to be determined. From WFUV Sports, I'm Julia Moss.